Learn the steps Jamila took to save $85,000 in 1 year by taking her free wealth building email course, where she goes over the mindset and steps you need to start seeing the major improvements you want to see in your finances. Go to her website, journeytolaunch.com/free course.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
And we have a great girlfriend guest with us. Welcome to the table, Miss Nata Dvir.
I'm so excited to be here and share a little bit about my story, but there's no greater girlfriends than you two. So thank you for letting me join your club.
We're so excited. First of all, Sybil and I walked through the Macys lobby, and that was like regular, right?
Yeah.
But then we get up to the 12th floor, and we're looking at like all this kind of cool setup, because it's like these all white outfits on one side, and there's these all colorful outfits on the other side, and then there's all these accessories, and we're supposed to be coming to meet Nata, but we're actually shopping this table display.
Like a boutique. We were like, oh, we've never seen, is this here? Is this all at Macy's? Wow. Yes, and Eric's like, everything's downstairs, but you kind of have to hunt through and discover. So it was just a great little preview of all the splash and summer gear.
It was
actually our setup for Pride, so it's just left over from Pride, but that's where we have all this great colorful products.
It's
Oh my goodness, I love the storyline there. It was beautiful, beautiful. And so, Nata, we are Great Girlfriends. For those of you that are listening, we are live in her really fancy office.
Super fancy. Easy breezy office.
Fancy office here at Macy's corporate. And I got to tell you, it is girl paradise in here. I mean, the wall is like, I could spray 5 perfumes. I can sit in the chair. Like, it just feels so enchanting in here.
Well, we can definitely play with product later. But I'll tell you, I've been with Macy's for 14 years.
Wow.
And when I first started walking on this floor, I never thought I would sit on this floor. So
Wow.
it's really special to actually have an office on this floor.
Okay,
and
so
to
now
make it my own.
So you do know that we're about to walk down that road.
Yes, we want to go down the 14th
our interest.
Because Great Girlfriend, there's offices and then there's offices, and she has one of the offices. She has one of the offices, but it comes along with, I guess, 14 years of work and development and growth and transition and commitment, and staying in the corporate lane and really driving your own mission and the brand mission. You want to start us at day one?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
I mean, you just kind of threw out this office situation.
Yeah, well, I worked hard to get here,
Yes.
for sure, and there's definitely more than just the office to show for it, but I started 14 years ago, straight out of college, so I went to Syracuse. I'm a born and bred New Yorker, so never left, so Macy's was one of those, like, institutions in New York, right? Parades, fireworks, like, it's definitely part of the New York DNA, and I started as an assistant, so I went through our training program, which we still do today, and so many young executives start with us through this program. They kind of say it's like getting your master's in retail, teaching you everything from retail math. I had to work on the floor for some time and learn what it is to be a manager on the floor. I started in panties, so I was an assistant in panties.
Panties, yes.
I worked in panties. So.
Oh, yeah, so it's really good.
And I wear panties, so we have that in common.
I learned that panties prints are personal. Everybody has their own what they like. So, but I started there, and then I spent 8 years in men's. So I felt like going from intimate apparel to men's apparel, learned a ton in that area, and it's fun because it was a category I wasn't a consumer of, so I had to really study the consumer and really understand what they were interested in, and I learned a lot in that area, and was all the way from men's neckwear, sunglasses, to like collections and designer. So it's one of the great things about my career is I've been able to learn so many different categories. After that I went into fine jewelry, so like a good girl's dream, playing with diamonds. But it was a really important category also because you had to kind of look at the price of gold and how it was changing. So all of a sudden I was like a commodities trader at Macy's, and we were doing so many different types of things to really change the way that consumers shopped for what I say love at Macy's, right? That's what jewelry really is.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of fun in that category, and then went to women's shoes. So then went into another category, women love. So I felt spoiled after being in men's for so long.
Yeah,
so.
you were spoiled. I love that you talk about, because some of our great girlfriends are still kind kind of at that place where they're like, okay, there are these offices and then there are those offices, and I've been at my job for a while and I'm trying to figure out like, when am I going to get to be in the offices, right? And what do you think kind of, and I'm going off script a little bit because, hey, you brought it up, Nata.
Open book.
Like, what do you think, like, was there ever a time when you were like, okay, when is this going to happen for me? And what kind of gave you the patience and the drive to, like, keep moving until you got to where you wanted to be?
I mean, this is a really important conversation because I think when you leave school, you're so used to graduating every year, right? So like, I'm going to fourth grade, fifth grade, you know, freshman, sophomore. The workplace isn't like that. And so I think you are trained to think every year you're going to have something different and better and bigger. But the workplace, you've got to work for that, and there's no timeline. So I think, you know, I always say, like, I never once asked for a job. I felt like I always really worked hard to earn it, but I always aspired for that. So I think if you ask probably my first boss 14 years ago, like, they knew I wanted to sit in this office. Like, that was not a secret, but I knew that it wasn't just like, give it to me. I felt like I really had to work hard for it. And knowing that you have aspiration for something like that, I think really helps you along the way. And being patient. I think there's no race to the finish line. There is no finish line. And so the minute you think there's a finish line, like, you're not going to get there.
That's so good. Okay, great girlfriends. That was like a tweetable moment right there. There is no... Can you imagine how that would set us all free if we just said, there's no finish line?
Well, and if you think you're going to get there in a certain time, then you're actually not going to get there. Right? Because then you're like, what's the race to get there? And so for me, like, what I love about this role is there'll be another role after this. And maybe it's in 5 years, maybe it's tomorrow. But if you're just like happy with where you are today, then you never worry about what's next. And you've got to find happiness in what you're doing. So
that is so true.
I'm reading a book called Happy Money.
Oh, okay.
Again, off. But, and he talks about, I learned about this from Sherry Salata, the book. They were coming out with their book at the same time. And he talks about being grateful, like, right where you are, and how when you're grateful for everything in your life, like, right at this very moment, how that opens up so many other doors for you. And I feel like you're saying kind of the same thing, as like being so grateful where you are right now, that, and also people are attracted to that.
Right? I think you also perform better, right? Because you know that you are in a position where you are capable of doing and contributing to the difference. So you're always going to give your best when you feel grateful. But I want to touch on this. You said the give it to me now. And I feel like there's a generation of give it to me nowers and who really want an instant gratification when it comes to work. It's like, I graduate and show me the stars.
Right.
And I think there's something very powerful about being willing to work from the ground up and being committed and devoted. And I you know, I'm not from the give it to me now generation, so I almost kind of cringe when I see it coming. But what do you say to the give it to me nowers? I'm sure you get the emails or the requests. I want to meet with you. I want to, you know, and they want to be mentored by you, and they want to understand what it takes to do or be what you do.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like finding that happiness. Like there's things that you can make a direct impact on every day. And so the stars exist in what you're doing today if you're open to like finding what they are. And so I spent a lot of time talking to, you know, our colleagues about what is your impact today. One of the great things about retail is you can do something today and see results of it tomorrow, right? Like, so if you have to get new product and you want to get into a store, if you want to motivate your sales team on something in store, like you can see a very quick response based off of what you're doing. And so if you're not doing things and then getting positive results from them, then like, what are you waiting for? And so I think it's helping them find the happiness within what they're doing and also the results. There's nothing more satisfying in my mind than when you're winning.
Right.
And so like, how do you find the ability to win in what you're doing every day? And it's not like when you get promoted, all of a sudden you feel so much better, right? Like, it's not like, oh, and now I've achieved this greatness. Like, if anything, you have to kind of start again.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. You are totally starting again.
So I think there's more to what you're doing today, and you have to appreciate it. I always say, like, one of the best roles I ever had was the longest role I ever had. Because you can anniversary yourself, right? Like, all of a sudden, you remember what it was like last year.
Yeah.
And retail, that's so important, right? Like, what was holiday last year, and how do I make holiday better this year, and then how do I make it even better for the following year? You don't learn that if you're moving around every year.
That's true.
And so experience really matters. And I think to be a leader without experience is really tough. Like, how do people follow you?
Right.
That's interesting. So, Nata, I want to talk about the cheerleaders that have sort of been with you along your journey, because we all know that it's important to have women and men, allies, advocates, sponsors. There's something special about having the women kind of cheering us on to say, girl, you can do this, you got this, we're cheering for you. I want to know what that's been like for you along your journey. Have you found that women have been supportive, competitive, collaborative? What have you seen?
I mean, I've seen all kinds of...
all of those.
Same people, different people for sure. But I think... For me, I have a really great group of friends. I have a best friend for 25 years that is like my cheerleader, my sister, my advocate that supports me, and somebody that I can brainstorm with, somebody I feel really comfortable in sharing my insecurities and my securities, right? Like, sometimes it's hard to be confident, and you don't know that you can share that with people, and finding that person you can do that with is really important. But also, like, I can be my silliest with her. And I think that's super important. Like, you have to let go sometimes. So she's my best friend for sure. Growing up, she was the smartest.
It was like, and it was authentic, and it was real, and you can feel when it's not. And I was like, dang, how do they have that at such a huge corporation like a Macy's? Because you don't always see that. What do you think kind of contributes to that in this environment?
I mean, it's definitely like embedded in our culture at this point, right? Because I think it's not something anybody tries hard. Like, we do have great women who work here, which speaks to the fact that we must attract great women because they all come here. And I think what we do every day, while it seems like it's all fun and we're just like buying product, like, there's a lot of hard work that happens in retail and in our department store sector. So, like, we're doing a lot of hard work. So we've got to find ways to have fun with each other. And so I think part of it is just that we know that at the end of the day, it's like not that serious. And so like we know that we can kind of, you know, identify with that. And I think seeing so many women around makes it feel like this is a comfortable place for all of us to work and support each other. And so there's tons of women here that I not only am friends with within the workplace, but outside the workplace, lifelong friends that I've made. So it's just kind of a fun place to work. And then in beauty, I mean, forget it. Right? Like, so we have, you know, over 13,000 beauty advisors on our selling floor. So many of them are women, and you doing the electric slide on our floor, like, I say we have the most fun on our beauty floor. You know how to throw a party.
Well, because you know, no one ever said, "Okay, guys, you're getting too." They were like, "Oh, this is fantastic! Like, let's go, let's keep this going." So your official title at Macy's is?
I am the general business manager for beauty, and then I also have food and our leased businesses. So, so I've had beauty now for almost 2 years, and then I just picked up food.
It's a big intersection.
Like, you know, there's so much more connectedness in food and beauty than I thought there was.
Oh, really?
Like, they make me feel good.
I love it.
So I'm learning a lot about candy and coffee and things like that too, which has been really fun for me to take on. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you keep a new goal in front of you? I mean, is it a space where you continue to look forward, or are you looking around? How do you set your new goals and place them in front of you? Because you've been knocking it out. I want to say for you to be in the building 14 years and to start where you started and to sit where you sit now is an example that you are definitely driven and ambitious. But where do you set your eyes for the goal?
Well, thank you, I guess. First. But also,
absolutely.
I mean, for me, my goal right now is I have like one of the best teams for sure.
I love that.
I love my team.
How many people do you manage?
So there's over 150 people just in the beauty team. But but really, there's first of all strong women that work for me. Two of whom I hired like 9 months pregnant. So, but I knew that they were the right talent for us, and so I love having these strong females on our beauty team, and they really support each other, which you have to in our category. But my goal is that they are kind of the ones who are really driving the strategy of what we're doing. And so where we were 2 years ago, we all kind of worked to do that. Now it's how I can support them and make this culture and make this team one of the best teams at Macy's, but also in the industry. So I keep my goals kind of light because I think that's important. But it's really about driving the best experiences for our customers. And so, I'm our own customer too. I shop beauty. I want to make sure I have the best experience. I want our customer to not only come here and shop with us, but to become loyal to us. And that's with like great experiences, great product. So there's some benchmarks like that really kind of help me. But, I love seeing us grow with new customers and then our best customers shopping with us over and over again.
I feel like a great girlfriend just heard you, and she's probably 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. Yes. And she's looking up opportunities because so many people, so many companies would close the door and say no and be like, not now. And absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was major.
They were super strong in the roles they were already in. And so this was another great experience for them. And so they had like really great reputations. And I knew that I couldn't win in beauty without having them on our team.
Wow.
And so waiting a couple months, like that's worth it for me. So I'm so happy to have the team that I have today. And you have to do what's right for your team. You can't think in the moment. Being short-sighted about things like that, especially about people, is just not how you're gonna.
Oh, that's
build
good.
the team.
Being short-sighted about
so many. Okay, you
come
covered so many gems. We might have to do like a Natas gems.
because
there's so many gems.
And they slide out so. They're like oozing out of you, Nata, and they're very effortless. I would like to know, for our great girlfriends who are in corporate or not, but are in the workplace and they're really just trying to get their footing. We have so many women who are feeling like their backs are against the wall, who, don't know how to have the conversations about negotiating salary or when it's time to get a promotion, or even feeling like, is this company still for me? What are some of your do's and don'ts to kind of sort of navigating?
Well, first I'll say it's still hard for me to have those conversations sometimes. I think that's just
just one of those things.
Right? Like it's hard for me sometimes to go in and negotiate. But I think if you remember that it's for you and it's okay to be selfish about those things. Actually, Mara on my team who runs fragrances, she was saying yesterday, like the one thing in life you can actually be selfish about is your career. And I think that's right. So I think that's true. Like, why not fight for yourself? It's the one place where it's only about you and what you need. So I think when you start to like put yourself in that setting, like it's really easy to ask for things. But I think going in without a reason and without a case, so I'm like super data driven, right? So like these are the reasons why I deserve something, and this is what I've done. And when you promote me or compensate me differently or do something, I will do this, right? And it's not just like, oh, reward me for what I've done, but reward me and then you're going to get even more out of me.
So incentivizing the one who's on the other side of the table to say, when I get these benefits, this is how I pay it for.
I'm not going to stop where I am.
Yeah.
You're going to keep performing because
really
it's an
good
investment in the future too. And I think, you've got to work for a company you believe in. For sure. And so we've got so many important things that we support as an organization that I connect with. And so I think, finding the company that's right for you, the people, like, talking about all the great people that work here, that's a big reason why I've stayed here for so long. And to make sure that it can challenge you. Like the day you're like, I've got this, like it's time to go somewhere else too. So I think you've got to feel challenged in what you do and secure. Like, at the end of the day, I work because I want to also have a great life outside of work. And so you've got to find a great place to support that too.
Once again, there were so many gems.
Go ahead. I was going to say, what have you learned as don'ts?
Yeah, the don'ts. I mean, you have to be ready. So I think sometimes we get excited about something. Don't set someone else's success about where you should be. Like, I think sometimes we benchmark, like, oh, we started on the same time, or I'm better than that person. Like, you don't know what that person's doing.
That's
so who cares what they're doing? Just focus on yourself. You're going to get there at your own pace.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do that, right? Like, oh, well, this person did it. I'm better than that person. You don't know their story.
Absolutely.
Focus on yourself. And I think... don't also just get excited by something short-sighted. I think sometimes you have this idea of what you want to do, and if you don't get there, you get super frustrated. And sometimes that might not be what you want to actually do. And I think we just had a bunch of interns that were with us, and one of the great exposures for them is like this is their first time probably getting exposed to a company like ours. For some of them, they probably loved it, and for others, they might not have. And it's okay to veer from their path. So don't get like so hung up on something that you're like not open to other ideas either. Like careers change, jobs change. Like it's okay to change your mind. So you've got to evolve what your dreams and aspirations are too. So
you have this like crazy mix of being like super chill,
and ease,
right, and ease. But there's another side that I can see that's like super like
don't mess with me.
I don't know what you mean.
Savvy, don't come for, you don't want to come for me. Like it's like this. It's almost like a very calm New Yorker. It's like a very, like you know what I mean. And you talked about like managing over 150 people, and I think part of growth, and I've even heard from a friend who's been at her company for a long time, and as they were talking about promoting her, one of the things they said was that you haven't managed enough people. Even though you've driven results, you've done this, you've done that, but the one thing you haven't done is manage enough people. And I mean, we were talking, I think she was talking like 5 to 10 people, not 150 people. Like, what type of skill does that take that our great girlfriends can get for those of them who are in management roles, who want to be in management roles, who are entrepreneurs, who are looking to bring on people, even if they're volunteers to working with them? What are some things that you find in working with people that, I mean, clearly it's worked out for you if you're managing that many people at one time, and even more, right? Because you said 150 just under beauty. Like, what are some of those, like some of the things that you're like, this is my strategy and this is how I manage people, and maybe it comes easy for you now?
No, I mean, it's always been hard. I think,
I didn't even expect to hear that. I thought you were going to say it was always been easy.
No, I think what it is, and so I'm like an introvert, so it is hard for me to like rally the troops and like do.
That's where the ease comes from.
And I think it is. And I think that that's something like everybody has their something they have to work on. It was always hard for me to talk in front of a big group, and so even today I get nervous when I have to do that. And I let people see that too, right? Like if you're not letting people in on what your opportunities are, like that's not great from a transparency perspective. But I would say that being a great leader requires also having what I say to my team all the time is like you need followership. And you can get followership with no direct reports, right? And that's like your peers are like, oh, I want to support Sybil. Like, I want to do everything she says because, you know, she's engaging and I believe her and I trust her. And so how do you kind of create that followership? So with
creating
peers,
I'm telling you,
creating followership.
Natas Journey.
Oh my goodness!
It's so much easier to kind of come up with a new idea and get it supported when people like believe in what you're talking about. And that's not fake. That's like you've built relationships. You get to know people. So that takes time. That's an investment. That's not like, oh, today I'm the boss, so listen to me. Like that, I don't buy into. So I think it's about, you know, how do you really leverage the people around you? And I also say, like, even if nobody worked for me, you still have to treat them like you can really get everything out of them. And so even I've got tons of people that I work with today that don't directly report into me. But I can't be successful and my team can't be successful without them. And so even though you might not have any direct reports, you can still work and influence people so that they're really supporting your cause. And so being a good influencer, being a good leader, creating a culture that people want to hang out with you and listen to you and kind of support you, like that'll help you become a better leader. And you can do that with nobody or with 3 people or 5,000 people. And so I think that's really important too. And you can't do it alone. Like you've got to find the right team to really support what you want to do too. And I think that's kind of always been important for me is building a really good group of supporters that believe.
Was that the same way through college? Like, did you see that? Did you see that through college as well? Were you the same person?
No, I mean, I was more introverted for sure in college.
Really? Okay.
It's funny, like, if you're a New Yorker, you think you can kind of succeed anywhere, right? That, at least, is what I thought.
I see that from my 10-year-old and my 7-year-old. They're like, I'm going to do this and be great.
I, like, shut down a little bit because in New York, although it's big, it feels really small. Like, you get to know people.
True.
Yes,
like, you just walk places, you know people, you know everybody around you. I went to Syracuse, still in New York, but a very different part of New York. I was, like, overwhelmed. There were so many more people that I didn't know. I went to a really small high school, so that was part of it, too. But I was super overwhelmed there and I shut down. And so I think that was a good lesson for me, that I need to, stand up for myself and be more courageous. But I had a really good group of friends and was like really intimidated by everybody else. And so, I think that people change and they get stronger as they kind of mature also. But I learned a lot in college, but I was a really different person for sure.
Wow.
I'd love to know, Nata, when you look back, what would you tell your 21-year-old self that you know now?
My 21-year-old self was really focused on what she wanted. I don't think she didn't want to be like in retail as a merchant. Like that wasn't on her list. So I think at that point in my career, and my mom was always a really big advocate of this, is like having a profession, right? Like be an accountant, be a lawyer, be a doctor. And so I was very focused on doing something like that because she felt like no matter what, there always will be a place for you when you have a degree like that. And so I think I wish then I would have known, like, it's okay to do other things, which she's been so supportive of and was like, yeah, like, you should go do what you're passionate about. But I was, like, so focused on what I wanted, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, which is, like, the advice I was just saying is, like, don't get hung up on, like, something that you think you want to do. And I probably would have kind of explored more, and I think I didn't wait before I started to work. I went right into the workplace, and so I see people now who travel and all these. Oh my God,
they backpack everywhere, and I'm like,
going all these
how do they do this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, this generation is like they're doing all this cool stuff, and I'm like, oh, just went straight to work.
Me too.
I missed something. Yep. So I think I'm actually inspired by that because now there's so much more that work-life balance means today, right?
Yeah.
Like going to a gym class in the middle of the day because you love that spin instructor, that's fine. And I think that has been a good lesson to me from the generations that have just started working with us is there's got to be a little bit of me time. It can't just be about working all the time either. So
we never saw our mothers, mentors, etc., have me time. So we never pursued it until this new generation reminded us that you can take a noon class, you can take a long lunch, you can go to the spa midday. You have choice in it.
Right.
But we had to that's something that we've had to reverse engineer.
Yeah, it was almost like, the best practice is to work all day and have no time for dinner and to do those things. And my mom worked hard and really was there for us all the time. And we always had dinner and all those things. But it was about how hard can you work? Where today is how efficiently can you work?
Right.
And how can you make time for yourself? Right. Doesn't mean you do less of a good job because you went to go do something in the middle of the day. You still have to deliver.
Right.
But I actually think you become more efficient because you're I took a little me time, which I definitely need.
You do. I was like, my mom actually took one trip per year. With the church. And when I tell you, she almost ran out that door. Our hair was all over the place. It was like, kids, I don't care what you look like, and y'all figure it out.
Yes.
She ran out that door so fast. It was almost as if that trip for her was like oxygen, but why didn't she just take time for herself all the time?
Yeah.
Why was it that one time a year?
She's grabbing the mask. I think it's us, we're learning, and the more we learn about ourselves and become more self-aware, we can offer it to ourselves the way we show up with time and managing all of that.
Absolutely.
That's really true. So with this big responsibility, large role, large team comes a lot of time management. And I'm sure, there's all kinds of, I won't even say distractions, just priorities, people knocking, emails, phone calls, meetings, etc.
Yeah.
How do you establish your time and set the standards for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to manage all the time because there's this feeling like you want to be there for everybody too. And I don't think you can shake that, right? I always want to support people and I never want to slow anybody down. That's a big thing I'm always thinking about, right? If they can't find me or if I can't help them make that decision, because sometimes they just need my final approval on something, I don't want to slow everybody else down because they can't find me. So, my tips around that are I always build in some time on my calendar that's just 15 minutes where it's empty so that I can catch up on emails, check my texts, make sure nobody's needing something urgently. And if nobody does, then at least I know I have 15 minutes to run to the restroom, fill up my water bottle, do the things also a human has to do. Yes. So that's important. And then another trick that I don't know, I learned from somebody was today we have like hour meetings and 30-minute meetings, right?
Right.
But like you can get away with a 20-minute meeting and a 40-minute meeting, and that's okay. And so you have to just do that. And then when you do that, you have 10 minutes or 20 minutes on the back end to either like finish the meeting if it's running long or do something else.
Yes.
And you have to be selfish about your time. And it's easy for me to say because like I build a lot of my calendars and meetings, but if you can like pass that down, then everybody starts to do that too. Yeah. But you've got to be requiring of people that need your time, right? Like, what's the agenda? What are we going to accomplish today?
Right.
Let's not just like talk for an hour.
Right.
Yes.
That doesn't help
use
either.
that hour for something productive, for sure.
Right. And so I think those are things too. Is it's okay to be like, hey, what's the intention of this meeting?
Yes.
Right.
What do you need me to come prepared with? So that way it's the most effective use of the time.
That's so good.
Yeah. Because that honestly that helps people sift through the weeds of the conversation too, because they have to prioritize what they send, and some of that honestly can be accomplished in an email, right?
Yeah,
You're like, oh, we don't even have to meet for this. I can just shoot you these responses now and save an hour and go have brunch.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah,
right. Have some me time.
I think the thing that was really hard for me actually was picking up the phone. And I always thought like an email was the best way to communicate. But sometimes like picking up the phone is way easier.
Yeah.
Or going down the hall, like one of my bosses said this, is like, why don't you just go next door and ask that person? I'm like, but what if they're busy? What if they don't want to talk about And so you just have to get comfortable doing that too. And in this generation, like you text and you email.
Yes.
You guys know, because you guys know the podcast. You know the power of voice.
Like, you should call. But calling is like someone's dying these days. It's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I just want a quick answer.
But in 2 minutes, you can get everything done.
Everything.
That's so true.
Without all the back and forth
gosh,
email and without a 30-minute meeting on your calendar. I love it. What's one last thing you want to leave the great girlfriends with?
One last thing. I mean, I think, how you can use your friends as support, how you can use your mentors to support you, and not feeling like you always have to be Superwoman. I think that was really important for me, is finding those people that you can be vulnerable with, but also show your strength. And I think it's okay to be strong, and you just have the people who can put you in your place when you need to be put in your place, and not be afraid to ask people for feedback.
Right.
Hey, in this meeting, can you tell me how I did? And that doesn't mean you're weak. And I think that's really important. And I've been listening to a lot of your podcasts. It's how do you use each other to build that community, but also selfishly, they help you succeed too.
Yeah.
So, and you just got to pay that back, right?
Yeah.
So you have to do that
absolutely.
for someone else for sure.
I love that.
But this company, there's so many strong women that have been able to serve that for me at Macy's, but also so many of my friends and my mom and my sister too. So just find all the strong women in your life and bring them together. Somebody once told me you need to build your board of directors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So
I have one. I love it.
I
too. Wise counsel. I'm I have a personal
tell
counsel.
Me what I should do.
Absolutely.
And so build that group of women or men that can help support you to achieve whatever it is that you want to do. So.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I told you the last thing, but last thing. Me and Sybil want to look about 15 to 18 years old for the next 30 years.
Wait, what?
So, what beauty product? What beauty product should all of our great girlfriends go out to Macy's and at least buy and try it out?
So I'm going to do you one better because I think every woman is different.
Okay.
So I would just recommend go to Macy's and find your beauty advisor.
Okay.
These women and men know exactly what you need, and everybody is different. It took me a long time.
Go to a particular counter?
Go to
how do
any
you find
counter, and they can help you across any brand and help you find your regimen.
I have a question now.
Okay.
Last. A beauty advisor. I'm sorry. I know about the people that offer you cosmetics by brand, but are you saying that there are specific people that can say, hey, let's talk about your skin?
I mean, all of our beauty advisors are trained across all of our brands.
I didn't know
they sit at that one counter, they can help you with anything. And so,
how did we miss that all these
look
years?
at that light bulb
that's
moment.
kind of a new thing that we've been really focused on because
look at us.
But that's great.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, we actually all did the same exercise where we emptied our makeup bags, and nobody has just one brand anymore.
Right.
And so we had to evolve the training in our stores, which was a huge investment actually in the people in our stores too, because we helped them kind of learn about all the brands we carry. So that would be my challenge to all the listeners is go find your store and they'll find you the right regimen to kind of look 18 or 18 years younger or whatever it is that you want to do. But I think that took me a long time to find my regimen, and it's different for everybody. So.
Who knew that Macy's had beauty advisors? I don't know if you got great girlfriends, but they also have stylists.
They have
stylists.
We love my stylist team. Oh my gosh,
they've worked for several times.
Yeah,
where they'll literally pull clothes into a closet for you, like you can try on for free.
Well, that's the craziest thing. Yeah. It's free, and it's like having your own personal stylist, which not only is convenient, but like makes you feel super special, like a celebrity, which is really nice.
And they shop within your budget too. So sometimes you can say a number, and you may feel like it's intimidating to have a stylist. But I've had worked with my stylist team, and they've picked the clearance rack, and they've gone upstairs and downstairs and every floor. Yeah. So they really are conscious of your style more than and help you match with the price. So I love that. And this is not even a Macy's ad. I legitimately love them.
Not planned to say. Not on our list of questions.
No, at all. But it is just one of the great benefits. Yeah. And we just personally can't thank Macy's enough, because your support across the years with the podcast has reinforced. We had this revelatory moment the last time we were coming for a walkthrough for our party. Like, wow, a brand as big as Macy's, over 100 years old, that was built and established in New York City, would partner with a small brand such as The Great Girlfriend, says a lot about Macy's and the commitment to people and to the next generation of brands. Yeah. So I was sitting in a Macy's, I was like, this is actually so beautiful that, honestly, but it is beautiful because a lot of times you don't see that from brands, but it is an honest reflection of the core values here at the company. So we can't thank you guys enough. And then to meet each one of the all-stars, and they each be so dynamic.
Well, it's our pleasure. I feel like every event we do at the Great Girlfriends is always fun, and we love good energy around here. So being with you ladies has been kind of a blast for me. Nice break in my day. So
I love it. I love it.
Thank
you so much, Nata Dvir. You have been amazing. Where can our Great Girlfriends find you on social media?
Ooh, all right. You can find me on Instagram at NataDNYC, and I always post what's going on in our stores with all of our beauty advisors, what's happening behind the scenes in the office, and I've got tons of great friends you can also see on my Instagram showing up.
I love it. And Nata is NATADNYC.
Yeah. And I've got pictures of my office so everybody can see what it looks like.
Oh, it's so beautiful. We're going to do a little video too before we go. I really just want to stay here for the rest of the day, Nata. But that's another story. That's another story.
I'll sit at my desk. No problem.
We're not going to hold you. Thank you so much for your time, Nata. Thank you, Great Girlfriends, for tuning in and connecting with us and continuing to spread the messages that Nata shared with us so beautifully. So many gems, Nata's gems. I love them all. I love them all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We could not end this podcast without thanking our amazing husbands.
Yes, thank you, Kwaku.
And thank you so much, Rich Daniel.
And our beautiful children. Thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you, Miss Sky Daniel.
And thank you to all of you, Great Girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
You can check us out on our social, on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_Great GFS,
and on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, which is over 16,000 women strong.
Absolutely. And make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Google Play, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely.
Be sure to post your questions, share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're signing off.
Peace.
Peace.